Welcome to another episode of The Show Must Go On. I am your host, Casey Bell, and today's guest is Gary Pratt. Let's get started. Okay, so you are in the music business. Tell us how you got started in the music business.
Um, well, first of all, I've always loved country music since I was a kid, and I think the fact that I was, I was born with this. I don't know. I just love music so much. I think the turning point was probably when I was about 10 years old. And I don't think I told you this story before, but my family was at a picnic and it was like a family gathering and friends and that. And my cousin was playing in a band. And like I said, I was about 10 years old. And just watching him in that band, I think that's when I decided that when I grew up, I wanted to be in a band. And by the time I was 15, my parents helped me put a band together. Most of the people in the band were older than me. And I think that was a benefit, actually, because I got to play different places that if I'd have been with other kids my own age, I wouldn't have been able to play and probably wouldn't have got booked at the places that, we got booked at because everybody was a lot older. And I think that was a benefit because we were playing, every weekend. That was like I had two different lives. During the week, I was a kid in school, and on the weekends, I would say almost every weekend, I was out, singing in some club or opening up for somebody at a place called Paradise Park, which is out in Butler, Pennsylvania. I played there a lot, and ever since that, I've just always been in a band. Except for 1 year when I moved back from Nashville, I didn't. I was sort of had a sour taste in my mouth about the whole experience down in Nashville. That not that it was a bad experience because I played so many places down there, even the Bluebird. It's just I sort of got burned out. I thought, but when I come home and I quit for about a year, and I wasn't a happy person, and I figured, hey, I don't care if I have to sing in the bass with the rest of my life. It makes me happy being creative, writing songs. And so I just started playing again. And one thing led to another. And, I got a lot of followers and started getting a lot of gigs. And then I also have another job that actually gives me financial stability to, pursue my music because it takes money, to do that, to do music, go in a recording studio and hiring musicians, etc. And so, I've been blessed that way. So, that brings me to now. So that's sort of it in a nutshell. But ever since I was a kid, I just love music, and I've been creative. That's just who I am. So I'm happy where I'm at right now.
Cool. So there's I'm sure all over the world music classes where they teach you either vocal or instruments. Unfortunately, something they don't do, which I believe they need to start doing, is they don't really focus on the business side, the technical side, the administrative side. Like you said, calling the clubs, booking, the money side, making sure you get what's due you. And then, the copyright side, the publishing side, like the most important part of the music business is not taught in music school. So in your process of doing this, what were some of the things you stumbled upon and learned about the actual business of music business?
I tell you what, I learned a lot after I started recording, some of my own songs, and I've done some albums of like Christmas songs and getting the rights to those. And I actually had to do a lot of that on my own. And it's just a process with technology today. It's easier to get your hands on information on how to do different things, getting the rights to songs if you're doing somebody else's songs or cover songs, getting your songs copyrighted. There's also a digital number that goes on each recording that you record. So it gets recorded that they are playing your song, and you can get your royalties. Not that it's a lot for the royalties sometimes playing on, you know, with the streams and everything, but it is something. And I had to learn how to get those numbers, to get them embedded into my masters. So there is a lot that I didn't know before these last two records that I did, which one was a Christmas album and the new album that I have out right now. So those are some things that I, you know, that are valuable to everyone that's out there writing music. I mean, get your stuff copyrighted, and there's different ways to get your songs. Not ways. There's different methods of having your song copyrighted. You can do it as a single song. You can do it as a collaboration, maybe of 10 songs. So there's different ways that you can do that, but you have to do it, you know, through the Copyright Office. I know one time I heard you could send a copy of your song to yourself, but through the mail and not open it. I used to do that when I was like, you know, young, and say, oh, it's copyrighted. Well, yeah, it's really not copyrighted, but it's best to get your stuff copyrighted, and also to belong to like ASCAP or BMI, you know, the music rights associations. So there's so much, you know, behind the scenes that just by writing a song that you need to know. And like I said, you can get a lot of information on the internet, and, you know, ask your friends. A lot of people like that I worked with at studio, my engineer, you know, my producer, you know, they helped out some too. But a lot of that learning I had to do on my own, and I'm glad I did. And if there's anybody out there that, you know, wants some help or a question, if I can help you, I'll be happy to help you. You know, get my email up. You can get it off my webpage, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later. So not just that, I'm learning also that since I've joined MTS Records and they're promoting my record, it takes a lot of time to do these interviews. I had an interview yesterday, I had one the day before, and just, you know, setting up and learning how to talk and make sure you're sort of in control of what you're saying. When I first started these interviews, I was like, am I going to be able to do this, you know? But the more I do something like this, the more I grow and learn more about myself and where my music's taken me. And, you know, with some of the questions that people ask, you know, such as you, you know, I've learned a lot about myself and my music through, you know, people interviewing me like you're doing, Casey. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You had mentioned the copyrights. I remember telling someone who was writing a book, you know, about copyrights, and they said, oh, I heard they call it the poor man's copyright, where you just mail it to yourself and don't open it.
Exactly.
I said, well, I said, you can do that. The only problem, I said, the only purpose of a copyright is kind of like life insurance or car insurance. You don't need it. You only need it if someone steals from you and you take them to court. If you don't have an official copyright, unfortunately, the court does not honor the poor man's copyright. They only honor the official copyright. So there's nothing like, there's no evidence that you have that book or you have that song. So they can steal it and, you know, oh well. And so I always tell people you want to do the official copyright because it's your insurance if someone should plagiarize or steal your stuff. That's all it's for, because it's the only thing a judge is going to honor. And so it's not really something you want to do, the poor man's copyright, and it's not expensive copywriting. So
not really. I mean, especially if you do it like in a whole section, you know, you put 5, 6 songs, whatever together. It's not as expensive. I don't. Someone had told me recently that you know, since everything's so digital anymore, a lot of times when you record a song, you know, the time, the dates, everything's on that, and like years ago, they never had that. So I don't know if that would hold up in a court or not, proving that, you were the original person or not. But I strongly suggest, like you said, get your stuff copyrighted. It's not that big of a deal. It's a little bit of a process of learning, but once you do it, you'll be all right.
So talk about your latest album, the one that you just finished. What was the inspiration, and what can a listener expect from this album?
It's a song about the whole album's about life. I was recording my Christmas album at Tonic Studios and got this idea to do another album. We ended up recording both albums at the same time, and it was sort of weird doing Christmas songs in July, but that was fun. But we recorded both albums because I wanted the same musicians on the albums and the same producer and everything. But my brother had passed away. Now it's been off 4 years now, and I wanted to dedicate something to him, and that's how I got the idea for this album. And I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do this, but I started writing some songs. I started collecting songs from some well-known writers in Nashville. Usually I do EPs that are all my own songs, but I wanted something different. I wanted that extra push by having some well-known, writers on the album. Tony Arata, who wrote the dance for Rock Brooks. I have Reba McEntire's niece and a couple other people from Nashville that are on the album. I also included other artists that are on the MTS label, Matt Weston and Savannah Nider. And my producer was Brian Cole, engineer Doug Casper, and a very talented and an artist in his own right. Adam Ernest did most of all the musical instruments, and he's actually now with Sony, so I'm real proud to have his name on there too. But the album, it started out, like I said, that was my idea. And I collected the songs, and I was trying to put them in some kind of order. And I don't know, it just, I loved the way they sounded, but something was missing on the album. It really wasn't making sense to me. How can I dedicate this, to my brother? And I was struggling with that. And then my producer brought this song in called Something Worth Remembering. And when I heard that song, I knew it was like the key. It just like this bright light went on, and it's just like I knew exactly what song was going to be first. I knew exactly what song was going to be last. And in between all these songs, or those two songs, it's like life happens. There's songs in there about having a good time with your friends. There's songs about grieving. There's songs about finding love. There's songs about losing love. I mean, that's what country music is. The first song is called "You Gotta Jump In." It's a song I wrote that, when I was when I was younger, I was always afraid to do stuff, and I mean, that's how you learn life, and that's how you grow as a person, and you have to push yourself, out of your comfort zone, and you'll grow. And that's what the first song's about. It's about jumping into life and not being afraid to, follow your dreams or even ask that girl out or whatever. It's about just, trying and believing that, believing in faith will happen, and the last song is Something Worth Remembering. And, you have to go through life and make bad decisions, good decisions, and, maybe overcome obstacles if you're grieving over someone, or maybe you have an addiction or anything like that, or maybe you have a problem with anger. You have to try to work through all that, and people can change, because I know a lot of people that have changed, and they're friends of mine and family members, and they're doing things they're doing good things, and that's what that song is about, is doing good for others. And when you do pass away, you know, you're something worth remembering. You want to remember the good things about people, and you do. And I know that, like I said, my brother, and you know, like I said, that song, Something Worth Remembering, ended up being the title track of the album. And it's a life story. The whole album is a life story, but that song was the key. So that's why we, you know, titled the album Something Worth Remembering. And it just makes sense. You know, my brother was something worth remembering, and he's remembered every day. So that was the whole inspiration and how that album came about. And, you know, I'm real proud of it. It's got a lot of life still left in it. We released 2 songs so far on the album. One was called A Song You Can Drink a Beer To. You know, it doesn't matter if you have a bad situation or a good situation, you always need a song to drink a beer to. And we released that because a lot of people could relate to that. And it's done so well on the Euro charts, and #1 on iTunes charts in South Africa. And they played it a lot in WNHE in Nashville, and all their sister stations, Las Vegas and Los Angeles and New York. They got me a lot of airplay with that song. And then we released another song called Country to the Bone, which I wrote. And it's doing real well right now on the charts too. And we are ready, and those 2 songs are more up-tempo and you know, fun songs. We're going to release a ballad, which people will be able to hear a different side of me. It's called When It's Our Love, It's Lost. And I believe we're going to release that real soon, you know, if not like next week. So I'm excited about that and see how that goes, and how people respond to it. So I'm just real blessed right now with Michael Stover and MTS promoting my songs, and people are hearing them. And, you know, that's what I always wanted, is people to hear what I'm doing, and you know, and maybe help people through some of my music, because my music helps me. So if I can help other people through that, that's my goal, you know, to help let people know they're not alone out there, that everyone goes through certain situations, and you know, family and friends, and that's the most important thing in life. So I sort of have a direction now with just having this album out, of where my music's going to go and lead me. And I have a lot of good ideas. I hope they're good anyhow for the next album. So hopefully that answers your question. I sort of ramble on a little bit, but
yes. So this past summer, or I should say spring, summer, were you capable of getting back out there and performing, whether it was indoors or outdoors, or were you able to go back?
Yeah, I did a lot of outdoor festivals. Some of them were changed, you know, the dates and that, and a couple festivals were a little bit smaller. I did a lot of outside gigs, not as many as usual, and a few indoor type, bigger, actually, sort of medium arenas. A place called the Palace Theater here in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Place called, I opened up for Neil McCoy, and that was exciting. Great guy, really cool guy. And did a sold out show at the Lamp Theater in Irwin, Pennsylvania. It was a Christmas show with good friends of mine. They're called the Two Broke Country Girls, and we had a wonderful time. And some things that I'm going to do my own show at the Lamp too coming up. They just actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, it's about time you do something down here by yourself." So I'm looking forward to that. But I was happy with, you know, the shows that we did, and you know, people coming out, and it was a little bit different, but I was still out there. And the year before, I wasn't out there because the pandemic was real strong, and but I was recording my album, so I didn't miss anything. You know, I'm glad I had that time without being out there. It was a time to focus on that.
So are you making any plans for the upcoming summer to start booking some dates, or are you laying low until you see what may or may
You know,
not be happening?
I'm getting a couple gigs here and there, and I'm planning on, you know, I'm just going to go ahead with the plans. If things get canceled, they get canceled. You know, nothing I can do about that. But I think you have to be out there, and you still have to, you know, plan on doing some of the festivals that I usually did, and you know, book the gigs. And if it doesn't happen, you know, it doesn't happen. I did forget to mention that. With a song you can drink a beer to. One of the highlights of my year was winning the U.S. Male Songwriter of the Year award through the International Singer-Songwriters Association. And I was up for Josie Music Awards, Hollywood Media Music Awards. And it's so cool when they announce your name. It's just like, wow, because that was like always a dream of mine. I never missed a country music award show ever, you know. And it's like one day I'm going to be up there, and um, I didn't get to get up there, but my name's announced anyhow. And I did get an award from, like I said, and it's a. I should have brought it home with me. I'm doing my interview at home tonight. It's a wonderful crystal award, and it's probably a good almost foot tall. And with the pandemic, they just had it virtual, so I couldn't go up on stage and get that award. But you know, I have it. It means the world. It means the world to me. And I did get to do an acceptance speech that they aired at a show, which was really cool. And some of the other awards that are coming up that this album has brought about are the Holland Red Carpet Music Awards, nominated in 3 categories, which is unbelievable. And also one of my songs from my Christmas album that MTS Records grabbed onto is up for an award show too. It's called Special Stars Award or something like that. But you know, it's all about this album, and yeah. So I getting out there and letting people hear my songs. It doesn't matter if it's a small venue, if there's not a lot of people there because of the pandemic, or you know, I'm going to be out there, you know, putting it out so people hear it. And you know, I'm just whatever, you know, people are booking, I'm going to play. So
Oh, well, congratulations. You said Holland, you mean the country Holland is giving
yeah,
you for award? Congratulations. So your music is international. What is
yeah,
that?
yeah.
What is that like, knowing that your voice is being heard outside of the country?
Well, you know what? I was real surprised because a lot of interviews that I've done, they've been like all over the world. I mean, uh, even Italy and Germany and England and you know UK and South Africa. I mean, it's amazing that you know I get to do these interviews with so many different people from all over the world, and you know, I'm loving it. People in the UK, you know, that I'm on the UK charts, the Euro charts, and it's amazing. And when they first told me I was #1 on South Africa charts, I was like, you know, how did that happen? I don't know how it happened, but I'm happy it did. You know, but it's mind-boggling. It's just, you know, I'm grateful and blessed, and I'm glad people are listening. You know, it's especially with technology today, you know, you can reach so many more people. Um, so I'm just, yeah, happy about that.
Congratulations. It's apparent that you have been successful in making your dreams come true. So my last question, what advice would you give to someone who says to themselves, it's too late for me to, you know, do follow my passion, what advice would you give them?
I'll go back to the time that I sort of quit singing. I don't think it's ever too late to do what you love, or even to explore new things. Because I mean, life's here to be lived. Doesn't matter how old you are. And that's what makes life interesting. Is going after your dreams. Doesn't matter how old you are, or if you put something down for a while to raise kids or whatever, and decided, hey, I want to do this again. I mean, it's all possible. And especially with God, God can open doors that you never thought. And if something makes you happy, such as music, or say painting, or writing a book, or anything like that, don't ever say, oh, I'm done, because that's like giving up on life. And, we're all, we're all in the progress of growing. We're all works in progress. And if you get stale and you sit on a couch and watch TV, which I can't stand doing, I'm constantly running around doing something, but it's like a waste of life. So if you enjoy something, just do it, because you never know what kind of doors they're going to open. And as long as you're happy doing what you're doing, and it gets your creative juices flowing, why not explore it?
That you've been kissing on. Maybe you got caught cheating on. You were cheated on. Oh, you're a soldier, got your orders. You're shipping out in the morning, or you spend half your paycheck just to see this show tonight. You wanna hear a song you can drink a beer to, dance all night, cry if you want to. Remember how good it was back then. Forget while your heart is breaking. Raise your glass, tip it back. Nothing else in the world makes you feel like that. Wherever you're standing, whatever your point of view, there's something about a song you can drink a beer to. Something you can sing along to.
That is all for today's episode of the show Must Go On. I want to thank our guest Gary Pratt for stopping on by, and of course you, the audience, for watching. Thank you. Have a great day.